Are you the sort of gamer who likes to grab any item that can fit into their inventory regardless of its usefulness? Do you like stealing items from NPCs, including but not limited to the clothes on their back, loose change they may or may not have, whatever the heck is in their furniture, their house, and or life? Do you, good sir, just want to collect all the things? Well then, my friend, I have the perfect character for you. How yin's doing? I'm Ian, and this is my Streets of Rogue character guide to The Thief. Before covering The Thief, let's read his description. Pretty much the worst thief who has ever lived. Actually dresses in stereotypical burglar garb. Ridiculous. This was done out of tremendous insecurities. They thought it would make them feel like a more professional criminal. It didn't. Will a thief ever conquer their imposter syndrome? Considering your starting equipment is a cornucopia of thief tools, I'm gonna go with no on that one. Speaking of which, your starting equipment is 3 lockpicks, a crowbar, 3 safe busters, 3 window cutters, 3 cardboard boxes, and my personal favorite, 5 wall bypassers. Yeah, with tools like this, I think we can assume he's not getting over that imposter syndrome anytime soon. The thief, however, is special from previously covered characters, not because he has some unlock requirements. No, indeed, he's actually a starting character. The reason he's special is because he has a special ability called Sticky Glove, allowing you to steal items from other people if you're behind them. If you use this ability while you're in your target's line of sight, however, they will become hostile, you won't get the item, and now you'll have someone punching you in the face. You also can't steal items that are currently equipped, so if you see someone carrying an axe, you can't pickpocket the axe they're currently carrying. Also, the penalty for committing a crime in front of a cop in the Streets of Rogue is death, so make sure cops don't see you when you pickpocket as well. Utilized correctly, this ability is basically an endless supply of free cash and beer. I advise targeting slum dwellers in the earlier levels especially, since they always have something worth stealing on them at all times, unless you already pickpocketed them. In fact, I advise trying to pickpocket every unarmed NPC you can find on a floor before starting the mission objectives of said floor if possible, since it'll let you have all the money and healing items you'll need to complete the floor with relative ease most of the time. I also advise trying to find the Cellomatic as quickly as possible. The trait GPS will make this super easy since it puts it on your map the instant you show up on the floor with that trait. However, you don't start with that, and traits per floor are random, so there's no guarantee you'll even get it. The reason I recommend finding the Cellomatic, especially with the thief, is because you'll constantly have to be sorting out your inventory due to you stealing all sorts of items, and needing to sell some useless ones every now and then. I also advise, if you're in a fight or flight situation, to pick flight, since you have a maxed out speed of 4 and a bare minimum of 1 endurance, meaning you're fast but not durable. And whilst your weapon skills are average with a 2 in both melee and firearms, you'll find these skills becoming middling down the road once you start dealing with super cops downtown. My advice is to use the items you get from completing quests, especially your big quests, quite liberally, since you'll end up getting more than your inventory can hold if you don't. Speaking of your big quest, let's cover that next. Your big quest is called Undiscerning Looting, requiring you to loot a set number of chests and safes before moving to the next floor. The exact number is typically around 3, but this can sometimes be lower if RN Jesus decides to bless you and have only 1 or 2 chests spawn on a given floor. Please note that items found in chests from missions that you have to complete before moving to each floor also count towards this, and whether or not you blow up the chest with a grenade or loot it personally, it will still count towards the big quest. If you can complete this big quest and reach the mayor's village, you'll be awarded with the Skull Key. Much like the one in Skyrim, it's an infinite use lockpick. My advice is to test out your starting gear, since your starting 1 endurance means you won't have the health to handle repeated scrapes with the goons and other security every building will have, and you won't be able to just walk into a bar, buy 20 beers, and then heal yourself for full. So you'll want to stock up on thief tools instead at load automatics or from fellow thieves. I particularly recommend the wall bypassers, since they can help prevent you from taking damage in the first place. Same goes for body swappers, though this is less reliable since you'll need someone on the other side of the building to swap places with. And if you were wondering why shops won't do business with you, well, let's cover that next, shall we? The trait I was alluding to earlier was suspicious, making all shopkeepers annoyed with you, meaning they'll chase you out of their store instead of selling you items. NPCs that grant optional missions are exempt from this trait, however. You do, however, have the trait Honor Among Thieves, which makes it so that thieves won't steal from you, and they'll even sell you thief tool items consisting of everything in your starting equipment, as well as body swappers. This is very useful downtown since you'll no longer have to worry about people randomly jumping out of manhole covers and taking whatever item you wanted to use. This, however, means that the only way to acquire healing items, aside from randomly stealing them from people or trash cans, is through drug dealers, who are more likely to sell you, well, drugs than healing items, since the only healing item they'll actually sell with any regularity is a syringe with regeneration. Their last trait is Slippery Target, effectively making NPCs have reduced accuracy against you with firearms. Quite useful on the later levels when literally every enemy has a gun. My advice with a thief? Loot and run away. You're a robber, not a fighter. In a prolonged battle, you'll inevitably die. Heck, while recording, I escaped death several times by using a wall bypasser to simply flash through walls. Just a word of advice, if you see the mayor in a pool or a bathhouse, don't poison the body of water with cyanide, because you'll have to go in after the hat afterwards, and you can't override cyanide with a syringe. So yeah, learn from my mistakes. All in all, I'd say the Thief is great for players who like to spam using consumable items, but for individuals like myself who like to hoard them just in case they need them later only to forget they have them in the first place, the Thief is probably not the best fit for you. But this game isn't about optimization, it's about having fun, and if what I described sounds like a good time to you, there's no reason you shouldn't try playing the Thief. I've been Ian, and this has been my Streets of Rogue character guide to the Thief.